realized the power of entrepreneurship. From a job seeker, you suddenly become a job creator, and you can actually shape up so many young minds. They worship nature, and when you worship something, you automatically ensure that you don't destroy it or deprive nature of its essential resources. At the end of the month, I would actually look at how the social return on investment that we had created in their lives rather than return on investment at the end of the month. And that's when I realized that, oh my God, my thinking has changed and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I believe in delegation. So, I think that is also one of the leadership styles. We have created those models which can be replicated and scaled up. We are very happy to share everything with anybody who's interested in taking up these models, because the world really needs a lot of people, and we know we cannot do everything ourselves.
Dr. Sarika is the founder director at Raah Foundation. Prior to this, she was serving as CEO of IFL Foundation. She's also a doctorate in management and a PG in social impact strategy from the University of Pennsylvania. Welcome, Dr. Sarika.
Thank you so much, Santosh. It's a pleasure being here.
Absolutely. So I understand you've had careers across various verticals, if I may use that term. But right now you are the founder director at Raah. So tell us a bit about your career, about Raah Foundation.
Yeah, sure. So, as a good girl, my parents wanted me to study well and stuff like that. So, which I did. I ended up doing a PhD in management and started my career. And after PhD, the obvious choice was becoming a professor. So I became a professor at SPJIMR and then later on at JBIMS. Was very happy doing what I was doing, mentoring young minds to actually earn a lot of money, if I may put it that way. So, and then I was on my maternity leave and I got an opportunity to start a business. And I thought, I had that checklist in front of me as, 10 things to do before I die, and usme ek tha entrepreneurship. So I thought this is a good opportunity. I have nothing to lose and I have my job to go back to, the maternity leave hai. I started and I absolutely loved my role as an entrepreneur. I loved being an entrepreneur. I subsequently quit my job and became a full-time entrepreneur. And while being an entrepreneur, I realized the power of entrepreneurship, as in, you become from a job seeker, you suddenly become a job creator, and you can actually shape up so many young minds and create so much value, not only in their lives, but in the society, in the community, and national wealth, ultimately. I mean, although it was a minuscule contribution to the large nation that you have, but still, some contribution I was definitely making. So I think this was, a kind of a watershed moment in my life. And I realized that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I got introduced to social entrepreneurship soon later when we decided to give opportunity to young rural dropout youth in our organization. And the transformation, I was like, first-hand witness to the transformation that happened in their life, from being unsure about what to do, from having lower self-esteem where they would not even look into your eyes, young, confident boys and girls who had bank accounts, who had regular salaries, who became role models for their people. And this was honestly extremely humbling for all of us, when I was running the business. And I decided that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that's when I sold my business and Raah Foundation was founded. Honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do in Raah Foundation because I don't come from this sector. I had no clue how it will all pan out, shape out, etc. But I know I keep on saying that it may sound very, very cliched, but that's the fact that just wanted to make a difference in the society and wanted to use my education, background, experience, and all that we had collected over a period of time for the benefit of the society. Sounds really, really, gisa pita, but that's the true story. And Raah Foundation was born in 2011, and first couple of years just went in self-incubation because I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had no clue how this sector works. I had no clue what it was all about. I met a lot of people. I met amazing mentors, got mentored by some phenomenal people, traveled a lot across India to understand this sector and how things are changing in this sector and how, things are shaping up, how destinies are being changed. And again, sounds very lofty, but yes, I mean, so I did that. And simultaneously, we were also getting the ATGs and 12 ways of the world. And finally, 2014, we decided to, we were kind of ready to go, and we became a tribal indigenous focused organization. And our model actually organically evolved. We soon realized, that when initially we went for livelihood opportunities, but we realized that there were too many impediments to livelihood, like water being the biggest livelihood impediment because it underpins all social problems. And so then we decided to focus on water. When water became available, slowly and organically, our integrated model of indigenous or tribal development evolved. And today we have a very robust model, which is, which we have multiple innovative methodologies. It has evolved into a very replicable, scalable model. And, we are really looking back. I think I'm extremely happy the way my journey has, or my Raah has shaped up.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. So, whenever you mention tribal, indigenous, okay, many of us who stay in the urban locations feel that we have more to give to them. But the reality is they also have a lot to give to us, correct? Because I think they are the ones who are the closest to the nature. They're the ones who are much more connected and grounded. What has been your experiences, and has there been any learnings which have really, helped you shape things or find solutions to the problems that we are grappling with?
Yeah, absolutely, Santosh. I think it's such a relevant question you have asked. I keep on saying that, after every single trip to the tribal indigenous areas, I come back enriched by their culture, enriched by, so many things are new for us as urban people. I think we are behind them by couple of years, if not more. Like, for example, they worship nature, and when you worship something, you automatically ensure that you don't destroy it, or you don't, deprive nature of its essential resources or stuff like that. And they really worship nature. Like, our indigenous people have two gods, Hirvya and Vaghya. Hirvya is nature and Vaghya is animal. So that's all they do. And so I keep on thinking that when nature is so entrenched in their culture, and unfortunately they are the innocent victims of the climate change. And but, when we started working there, the one thing that we had decided, that we will only take a bottom up approach, and we'll take a gender neutral approach, as in women's voices have to be heard, because they are facing bulk of the problems are being faced by them. And when we started doing that, slowly it dawned on us that multiple solutions they already have, but their voices are not being heard. Like, for example, when we started working on what they had enormous wisdom on where possible water bodies exist, how to find water. We use words like hydrogeology. They don't know these words, but they know what is hydrogeology. They know how it works. They know which are the good recharge zones or which are the good discharge zones. The wisdom is enormous, honestly, and there is so much to learn. And every time, I would come back actually stunned as to come back, more learned, more enriched, and more humbled, because it always proved that, oh my God, I don't know half of the things that they know. So I personally feel that, if even if we just hear their voices, even if we just include their opinions in our strategy for, for the national climate change initiative and stuff like that, we can actually shorten the duration of mitigating climate change in the country. I mean, yes, net zero is required. Yes, lots of these big plans and action plans are definitely required, but there are lots of small solutions which together can make a big difference, which exist already within our indigenous communities. All it needs really is to, hear their voices.
So well said. Yeah, absolutely. And bringing them to the forefront and bringing their voice to the forefront is very important
Absolutely.
and relevant for us. Okay, so you mentioned that 2011 was when you founded Raah.
Yeah.
Before that, you were an entrepreneur. So I know that you sold your organization and you wanted to do something good, but was there any trigger that you wanted to join the social sector?
Yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned, that he decided to use, or provide opportunity to these school dropout children in our organization. And it was honestly not because of any major desire that, oh, I want to do something for the society. I was a pure hardcore for-profit entrepreneur, and we had a big opportunity to scale up. And we needed a lot of people. The sector that I was my entrepreneurship venture was in was very people focused. We needed a lot of people. And so, it was like, where do I get people, so many people from? Then somebody suggested that, people that you are recruiting, you are training you, and you see IT sector and ITES sector, even now, it is more of a training. It has become a training organization. You train people because of the attrition rates are so high, which everybody has to face, which we were also facing. And then somebody suggested that, why don't you give opportunity to people who really want or deserve, and that way they'll be grateful for the opportunity, and the attrition rate automatically can be controlled that way. And I kind of mulled over it. I thought about it. I said, why not? I mean, this is a phenomenal strategy that we can actually think about. And that's where we kind of went to nearby villages, got hold of some youths who were unemployed because of lack of education. And when on the first day of training, I realized that, I need to start with toilet training, because they had never seen a toilet in their life, which was like an eye opener for me. I had never imagined, because I had never ventured into a rural area. I was like a 100% urban kid, grew up in a very luxurious background. So for me, it was like an eye opener. Oh my God, aisa bhi hota hai. And that's when slowly and steadily I started to understand. Through these kids, I started to understand, the challenges of their lives and what happens. And slowly I also realized that they are poor not because idiots or they are stupids or they are, illiterates. They are poor just because they never got an opportunity to change their lives. It really dawned on me, and that was a very trigger. That was kind of, again, using the word watershed moment, because I realized that, oh my God, all they need is opportunities. That's it. I mean, poverty alleviation, while it is a very big word, it can be addressed by creating small opportunities in people's lives, and then because I created these opportunities, I could actually see the impact of these opportunities on their life. They came out of poverty, the families came out of poverty. Every day, every alternate day, one of the youth will come and tell me that, I reconstructed my house, I removed the leakages from my house. Somebody will say, you know what, I have become a role model in my community, and my cousin also wants to now, is looking for an opportunity. Are we recruiting more people? Somebody will come and say that my mother's operation, I got her operated after she was suffering for many years. And every time they would come to me, I would actually cry. I was so, it would make me feel so amazing. I realized that, oh my God, what am I doing? I mean, I'm running after profit, but this is something that is making me happier, much more happier. And I slowly and steadily, so initially we did a pilot with 10 youths, and then we took another 30, then we took another 30. And by the time I sold the business, we had a sizable youth who were from underprivileged backgrounds working with us. And that's when I decided that this is what is giving me more pleasure. At the end of the month, I would actually look at how the social return on investment that we had created in their lives, rather than return on investment at the end of the month. And that's when I realized that, oh my God, my thinking has changed, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And luckily, I'm, as they say that, when you want something good to happen, good happens. When you strongly believe and strongly want that, desire that. We got an offer to buy us out. So, exactly at that moment, so it was so perfect that I couldn't believe my luck, and we sold the business. And that's how then 2010 we sold the business, and 2011 Raah Foundation was born.
Wow. Okay. Very, very serendipitous, right? And especially it happens whenever you're really, really thinking hard in a certain direction, you will find a way.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't know, is that the reason why you chose to name it Raah? Name your
Yes, exactly. Because I found my Raah, and I thought, and I realized that, I created, again, I facilitated Raah for so many dropout youths. I just facilitated Raah. They, of course, started walking. They worked hard. I never, forced them to work hard. They themselves worked hard. And what I all did was create that opportunity, and they used the opportunity, change their lives. So I realized that all you need to do is show that Raah. That's it. And, people then find their own Manzil. So
Very,
that was
very
the
powerful, very powerful. And actually, one of my questions was going to be what was your aha moment, but you did mention it in your entire, short, just now that it's really powerful, right? When you actually somebody comes with me, hey, I bought my first bike, or I fixed my house, or I got the medical attention that my mother really needed. I think there's no better aha moment than that. I think it's phenomenal. I've been working in the social sector for a while, and one thing that I see is capacity, talent to really take your mission forward. That is a constant challenge. Okay, I know that you've managed to motivate and mobilize a lot of people from the tribal areas, but of course, you need a certain category of people to kind of move things forward, also
Yeah.
the thinkers. How do you motivate talent to be part of your journey? How has that piece been for you the last 10
Yeah.
years?
So, I think we have been also very lucky in that sense because, our entire senior leadership are very passionate women from corporate sector who've been there, done that, and then decided that, now I want to use my time, my energy, like me, what I thought, similar thought process, women with similar thought process. And that, I have like another 10, 12 years of active career. So let me do, things that I really want to do and make a difference in the society and sleep well at night. And so luckily we have been exceedingly lucky to have such women as senior leaders in our organization. And I think one of the uh, probably reasons why these women are attracted to us and also continue to put in so much efforts is because there's a lot of freedom that they get, because being an entrepreneur, I understand the value of having that flexibility and freedom to do things that you want to do around and the way you want to do it. And so I think, so what we have done is we have designed verticals within the foundation, like climate change is one vertical, sustainable livelihood, art based sustainable livelihoods is another vertical, skill training is another vertical. So multiple verticals have been very clearly defined, and these actually become like SBUs, small business units. And they work, while they work independently, they are broadly follow the same values and under the same mission and vision umbrella of the foundation. So the way we have structured the foundation, I think, has been a magnet, has proved to be a magnet for a lot of passionate people to, join us and contribute very effectively to the foundation. And, and when such people come, there's no question of any attrition. There's no question of any, people leaving, because they have entire freedom to do what they want to do, and without having to bother about compliances or sending reports to donors and sending ATGs and answering queries. So for that, we have like other dedicated staff who are also exceedingly passionate.
Right.
So I think we have been pretty lucky, and probably the way we have structured the foundation has also made a difference.
Absolutely. Creating micro entrepreneurs of sorts, that always helps, because you're giving the person the ability, the opportunity to think, to create, and to do things at their own, at their own direction, keeping the larger mission intact.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned about mentors who helped you in the first few years of your journey.
Yeah.
Would you like recall anything about them and how they helped shape up who you are, your leadership style in the sector?
Yeah, absolutely. I think patience, I was an impatient for profit entrepreneur. So so I think the biggest thing that I needed to learn was a lot of patience, because I realized that you can earn money in a day, but you can't change somebody or impact somebody's life or create that necessary impact in, forget a day, forget a week, but it may take years. So one of the biggest things that I really learned from multiple mentors was, you need to have patience, and you need to, while you may face a lot of failures, you need to continue on your mission unabated, because, at the end of the tunnel, there is definitely a light, is something that, I always, whenever I'm depressed, whenever I'm upset, that, some things don't work out the way you want to them to work out, I, remember these golden words that, lage raho, light hai at the end of the tunnel.
So
Yeah. So
yeah. So are these what you would also attribute as your core leadership values?
yes,
Is it?
definitely. So I think patience, as I said, that flexibility, giving independence and flexibility to, and delegating a lot. So I believe in delegation. I believe in lot of delegation. So, I think that is also one of the leadership styles, if I may use that word, that, because, see, what happens is the moment you delegate, people know that you trust them. And with trust, a lot of things can be done, a lot of things can be achieved, that motivates people to do more, to do better, to do, up their ante. So lots of things can happen. So yeah.
Absolutely. And in the sector that you are, okay, and the problems that you're trying to solve, you need to come up with a lot of things. You need to look at things differently, You need to come up with a lot of solutions which are very different, something which at times can be very risky as well. But how, but it may not always come from one individual. Like Sarika cannot always come up with a solution for things.
Yeah.
So how do you manage innovation in your organization? Because that is quite critical for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the things that we have really done is networking with a lot of organizations, with a lot of people, not only within India, within the same geography within India, but also internationally. My studying at University of Pennsylvania. Before that, I also did a master's from Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, in CSR. So I think these connections really helped, because I got to see a lot of work which is happening across the world. And so picking up best practices, seeking out, asking questions to right people and not getting embarrassed about asking questions, accepting failures openly in public domain has helped me immensely, because that then once I say that, people say, oh my god, okay, there's a solution here. Because then what happens is people open up the moment because then it shows that, okay, you are willing to try out any other option, because you don't want to repeat the failure. So I think that has also helped. And I'm proud of my failures. Honestly, I'm not ashamed of my failures, so I'm happy to admit them. So yeah, seeking out opportunities and tying up with lots of organizations, like we identified some amazing organizations in every sector or everything that there. So we always do a gap analysis, that what are the gaps, like in terms of doing better and scaling up our work. One of the gaps, for example, we identified was, understanding of hydrogeology, that if we are working on water, then understanding of hydrogeology is very critical. So we identified one of the top-notch organizations that advises organizations on hydrogeology, reached out to them, and now they're our advisors. Similarly, on governance, we reached out to another organization. So we constantly identify gaps, look at best practices, do a lot of innovative practices. Like, for example, we introduced a lot of new crops in our areas, because we realized that there's a lot of monocropping which was happening, and you need multiple options. Like agriculture, you can't just have one size fits all. You need multiple options for people, to choose from. So we introduced herb cultivation in our areas. We introduced different types of vegetables which can give a lot of income. So we always do a pilot. We learn from people. We do a small pilot, and once the pilot is successful, we monitor the pilot very closely. Once it is successful, we scale up the operations, and that has been our kind of the Raah Foundation. So yeah, like recently we introduced turmeric cultivation in our geography. First time ever somebody is doing that. Also, I think partnering with the district administration also has helped us bring in a lot of innovative practices, because government actually has a repository of a lot of interesting ways in which certain solutions can be handled. The problem with the government is that implementation is the problem. They know what to do and how to do. So, partnering with them, what happens is that we pick up the best practices and we do the implementation. So we have been closely partnering with the district administration in a lot of areas.
Right. Okay, cool. So now that you've been a leader across different industries, what would your, in a couple of sentences, what would you say, what's a measure of success of a leader?
I mean, I keep on saying that even if I inspire 5 people, to actually make a big difference in the world. I'm not claiming that I'm making a big difference, but even if I inspire 4 to 5 people, I think I'll consider myself successful. When I was professor, I would say that, if 10% of my batch gets salary above a certain level, I think I'll be successful. So, it has changed from being but now I personally feel as a leader that even if I can inspire a couple of people to get into the sector and give their 100%, use their knowledge, use their background, and make a serious dent in the overall challenges that we are facing, I would consider myself really successful.
Great. And finally, to help you achieve that mission of getting people to come and partner you in some form, what would be your ask to anyone who's watching this, and how can they come and support you in the kind of work that you do?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many ways. You'll have to stop me, because I can go on because we need ideas. We love to brainstorm with youth, with people not from the sector, because as I said, that lots of solutions are common sense solutions, and because we are working day in and day out in the sector, sometimes we lose that common sense. So even person who is not from the sector, just brainstorming a problem we can come out with a lot of solutions. So we need people to brainstorm, we need people for digital content, social media, volunteering. We are like a serious mission of climate change mitigation, where we are converting barren lands into food forest and thereby create livelihood opportunities. So in fact, we are already now working on about 300 acres, converting completely barren land into forest. And that is just the beginning, and we want to really go to 5,000 acres in a couple of years. So if you come across any barren land, let us know, let us work together. If there are other organizations who want to get into climate change mitigation, we are very happy to provide you with all our solutions, because we have really worked hard and tried and tested our solutions. And as I mentioned at the beginning, that ours is a model which can easily be replicated now, because we have created those models which can be replicated and scaled up. We are very happy to share everything with anybody who's interested in taking up these models, because and honestly, because the world really needs a lot of people, and we know we cannot do everything ourselves. So we are happy to partner with other organizations. Young people, please volunteer with us, help us plant trees, help us identify barren lands, help us do fundraising, which is most critical part of the whole paradigm. Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be done.
Super. And thank you so much, Sarika. I think this was such a lively, energetic, and very, very focused conversation. Wishing you all the very best for your mission. I'm sure it's going to be like a grand success, and many people will come and join you and help you. And I love the idea of making things open source, because it really helps other people to come on board quicker, and the knowledge dissemination becomes much more targeted. Thank you so much once again. Yeah.
Pleasure, Santosh. Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.